The first thing that really jumped out to me there was those amazing stats that you had around the higher lifetime value of a customer.
Yeah.
We pretty much see this across the board with our clients, but I'd love to know from your perspective, like, why do you think that is that you've got that higher value for your referred customers at Viator?
Yeah, absolutely. I think a lot of it is kind of testament to these optimizations we're making and how we're really looking to kind of be reactive with the program. So we come up with an offering, but we've got to put it out, A/B test it, and see what that response is. So I think being constantly reactive, always making adjustments to the program, listening to what your customers are saying, to then deliver them the best offering that drives that value, fosters that long-term kind of relationship, and really kind of nurtures those customers. So yeah, probably testament to all the changes that we're making constantly.
Nice. And then I guess that probably feeds into that 76% growth rate, right?
Yeah.
Because that was really interesting. I thought, like, you obviously are live for 2 years now, and see 76% growth rate in your second year is absolutely huge.
Yeah.
What has factored into that? Because that's amazing.
Absolutely. A whole bunch of stuff. I've kind of touched briefly on a few things, but there's so much more that we're doing behind the scenes as well. Absolutely, one huge thing would be diversifying our placements. So I think where we originally just kind of stuck with the booking confirmation, where we knew people were really in the mindset to refer, we wanted to diversify. So adding it into our CRM communications, there's so much value in that, and we know how strong of a channel that is for us anyway. Definitely that also kind of at the write a review stage. So when customers are writing a review, they're really normally very happy, and normally kind of it's a perfect opportunity to hit them with that. Why not now refer a friend? So it's really about understanding at what point in the user journey we should be hitting customers with those messages, and also just getting in there. So that's been a huge thing, combined also with the CRM additional offers that we've been doing as well.
Yeah, nice. We call those the points of delight, right?
Yes,
and
exactly
there's multiple
that.
different points of delight that you kind of plot along and think about where referral fits in. I guess they're all learnings, right, that have attributed to some of that growth that you've seen.
Yeah.
You did also mention that you had done some user interactions as well.
Yeah.
How did that work, and how have you fed that into referral?
Yeah, really interesting, and I'd so recommend everyone doing this, especially when you're running any kind of loyalty program, refer a friend program, whatever it may be. But we hosted kind of a round of user research. So it was a combination of one-to-one interviews with people who had been exposed to the program, but also focus groups of groups of referrers and groups of referees. The main goal here was really to understand from their perspective. We could see the numbers, but what do they think of it? Are they resonating with the messaging? Are we asking them to do the right things at the right times? So we hosted it over the period of, I think, 2 weeks, and managed to speak to a fair few amount of customers as well, and made it really informal, but I think major key takeaways there. So first thing was assessing our offering. Is this 15% off for your friend and 20% off for yourself enough? The main kind of takeaway we got was that it was a really generous offering and a lot higher than what they see from other brands. They loved that, and it kind of kept them coming back for more. Another key takeaway we got, though, was that it was unclear to a lot of referrers what happens after that point that they refer. Kind of where do they track? How do they track? Kind of where can they get the information? How can they keep pushing their friend to kind of use their discount? I think for us it's super interesting because people don't travel every day. Some of us may. I would love to, but we don't travel every day. So kind of the points that they know that a friend is going on a trip, or if they're going on a trip and a friend is going with them, booking confirmation is great because you could be going on a trip with 10 people. Get those referrals out to kind of all of them, and then in that way they're kind of being mutually incentivized. So many really rich insights from there. We were able to take all of that information and push it into our optimizations. Worked very closely with MentionMe to actually implement those changes, and are constantly trying to do so. So it's definitely a worthwhile exercise, and just doing it regularly, kind of once, twice a year, to just assess what you're doing and kind of see what else there is to explore.
Yeah, that's really interesting, that piece you mentioned there around the booking page, and not everyone would have seen that. So to allow that referral to happen is really important.
Exactly.
Yeah. Nice. And then obviously you've done a huge amount with us so far, but there's obviously so much more to unlock, right?
Yes.
Like, I think that's the really exciting part.
Yeah.
What are you most excited about over the next couple of years?
I 100% think MentionMe is like the perfect partner to be fostering this loyal community of brand fans. I know we keep going back to that term, brand fans, but I think how do we get them? Who are they, and how do we create them?
Yeah.
And I think MentionMe have a clear strategy on how to do this. We are very closely aligned on doing that, but it really is just beyond referral. How are we unlocking this wider idea of word of mouth? What else can we be doing? And I think over the next coming months and years, hopefully we look to kind of really progress that. The idea would be to have a very strong loyal community online doing all the work for us, and obviously reducing our marketing budget, which is great.
Nice, brilliant. We've got a little bit more time. Does anybody in the room have a question for Mariam? Yes.
Yeah, I have a question. Sorry, just about that. How are you going to integrate it with your customer loyalty stream? Like, how does that look? You mentioned me.
Yes.
Like referrals with obviously Vitals. Like,
Yeah.
Like, do you have to work with Mention Me to get like sort of, like how that function? How do you
For sure. Yeah, absolutely. So we have kicked off that conversation already. And Mention Me are a great service and platform, but they can absolutely accommodate that change. So it obviously does require some back-end changes. But essentially, what we're currently doing is that a promo code gets generated when people want to refer a friend. What we'd love to do is you've now earned X amount of credits, 20 credits for referring a friend. That then gets kind of logged within their profile. So it is a set of kind of back-end changes, kind of tech integrations, but it's very doable and very easy to do. So what we're more working to do at the moment is get our product team kind of more closely on board with Mention Me's product team, integrate that change, and then also talk about it, do a whole kind of release and launch about it. Customers will love that. And I think kind of any opportunity to earn further rewards, and it is, because if you think about that one-time promo code versus you've now earned rewards, is it more of a opportunity? Is it more encouragement to keep referring more people?
Yes.
You're building up that kind of bank of credits or whatever.
So there's the idea, for example, like this sounds silly, like Starbucks rewards you,
Yes.
like connect 500
Exactly
stars.
that. Yeah.
The idea was like they have to hit a target, so they keep on getting credits to rack up.
Exactly that. And I think we're early stages of developing our loyalty program, but you can absolutely see it working as you've unlocked kind of silver level, gold level, whatever it may be. And that's kind of something we're developing, but you can see how nicely and seamlessly referrals kind of integrate with that. So yeah, it's a huge thing that we're looking to do. We've been thinking about it for a while, where we're now in a strong position with our loyalty program and kicking that off. It's the perfect time to kind of make that change.
Yes.
Hi. You mentioned that your referrers and referees were less likely to come back to and make their subsequent purchases through a paid channel. But how is it that you're connecting and measuring that data?
So that is all thanks to our team and kind of the huge amount of kind of data points that we have measured across that. What we did is a real kind of intense deep dive of our referred customers and that audience. What we saw is that they were kind of coming back through those unpaid channels versus just data from our other kind of marketing channels, be it CRM, paid ads. So using each channel, each team, and kind of their data that they had available, we were able to combine it with Mention Me's data, which is super, super in depth, kind of within the dashboard. So again, that was a time where we collaborated really, really closely to kind of make those, kind of get to those goals with our data.
Yeah, and within Mention Me, we'll track all orders, so we'll be able to tell who has come from referral, who hasn't come from referral, and then look at all those data points that Mariam was talking about within the actual platform. There was another question here, yes?
To what extent are you segmenting your audiences at the moment, and where do you see opportunity to do that further going forward? Because I can imagine your clientele, there's probably quite a lot of different age ranges, so people have quite different profiles. So how do you see the opportunity for segmentation?
Yeah, absolutely. I think this is a huge thing, and we've only just kind of begun to tap into this. I think, as I spoke to earlier, where we have this marketing opt-in and we are capturing those emails early on, even before they make a purchase. If they need a bit of a nudge, what we're currently doing is exploring how, if a few weeks have gone by, a month has gone by, say, how can we give them a reminder email? And then also kind of show a bit of our offering, maybe connected to kind of what their friends are booking, showcase a few of our experiences for them as well. But beyond that, I think there's so much more we can do. So referrers, once they have referred one friend, how can we later hit them with messaging about your friend was referred? Like now, extend it to the rest of your network. But I think a really big thing for us and something we really want to dive into a little bit deeper is these group trips and group travel. One person could be going on a trip with huge amounts of people, right? And then also friends that you meet when you're on your holiday and when you are traveling. And how can we, when you're in destination or on your experience, hit you with a notification in app and say, who are you with? Refer a friend very easily through SMS or kind of email or whatever the kind of sharing capability is there. So I think there's so much more we can do with segmentation there. But yeah, we're absolutely seeing it as kind of a huge opportunity, particularly where we're focused on these travel experiences.
I feel like in that situation, name sharing would work perfectly as well, right? Being able just to say, use my name. And
you don't, like you can meet a stranger. Exactly that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think we had another question here. Is all the way? Yes?
Yes, so you mentioned the in-app promo.
Yes.
And I was wondering if you could talk a bit more about the app. I'm curious to know if you've got the referral program for referees and referrers on the app, and like how does that work in comparison to the website?
Yeah.
And also if you could touch on like whether you've got like more iOS or Android users.
Yeah, absolutely. Great question. We love a bit of kind of app promo there. Yes, so we don't have kind of a BAU placement or offering within the app just yet. Typically, we were kind of very strong on site, and the app has only over the last kind of 2 years or so been really, really developed and is now in a really great position. Where we've also integrated kind of Braze, which is our kind of CRM system as well, into the app. We can really hit customers at the right time with the right messaging. We know where they are. We can kind of track what country they might be in. So we can even personalize that messaging to that as well. We would love to be stronger there. We want to be able to, when they're on their experience, send them a little pop-up, as we just said. In app, they're on the move, you know, you can take it with you. It's not like having to check your emails, for example, and hit them with that messaging and that refer a friend communication. I think that would be really great. So yeah, historically we've done it on site very well, where we now see people are kind of, we're seeing also more loyal users within the app as well. And to your second point as well, we are majority iOS. So the bigger opportunities with iOS. Of course, Android is significant there, but it's iOS that we really want to kind of look to optimize. And that's across all of our kind of app marketing efforts as well. But I think there's so much more we can do. Like I said, we're just early days with app promotion. We want to get in there and be kind of the best at that. I think that's where the largest opportunity is, and kind of that long-term growth probably lies with that in-app promotion as well.
Yeah, I think we see that across the board.
Yeah.
I think push notifications are a big thing at the moment.
Yes.
And we're seeing a lot of our clients have been historically very focused on desktop and mobile are responsive, but getting into app now is a massive focus. Any other questions in the room? Yes, we've got one here.
How does your offer compare to other offers that customers could get, maybe through like an intro offer or an offer from paid media or something? Is it better or?
Yes, so yeah, great question. It's significantly higher, the offering with Refer a Friend. We often do kind of these one-off app download 10% off or kind of welcome offers 10% off. So as you can see, the opportunity to get 20% off is like way more encouragement. So we, as I said, how we land on that offer was through that A/B testing, but also that user research. So 10% off wouldn't have been enough really to get our, and again, it will differ from audience to audience, but to really motivate our audience to take that action. And we even saw that with when we did the same amount for both refer and referral. It just wasn't working as effectively. So yeah, it's significantly higher, and we did that by basically speaking to our customers and seeing what they wanted.
Nice. Anybody else? Any other questions? No? I had one final question. I think it's just to anyone in the room today who's not currently using an advocacy platform.
Yes.
What would you say to them?
Great question. I would say if you're not on it, absolutely get on it. It's just the way forward. It's such a great use of your marketing budget. And like I said, the main thing here is that it can drive both the acquisition effort, but also that retention. So it really is a win-win. It touches on kind of multiple business goals. And it's one solution that drives kind of multiple things, which is really, really great. So I think that offering that long-term sustainability, and that's kind of what we all want and need, especially in the current climate of cost of living, and people are less likely to go for kind of unknown brands. This is the way forward. So yeah, get involved.
Brilliant.